Good YouTube, it's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated, newly crowned, 3-belt, unified welterweight world champion superstar boxer ERROL Spence Jr., who is widely considered by many to be top 3 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. ERROL Spence Jr. has a record of now 28 wins, no losses, no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout. He is 32 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. With that said, ERROL Spence Jr. is coming off of a dominating performance against former WBA welterweight world champion Cuban star boxer YORDENIS, who is now 35 years of age, 27 wins, 5 losses, no draws, 12 wins by way of knockout. And now he has been stopped since ERROL Spence has got a 10th round stoppage victory over YORDENIS, okay? He broke YORDENIS' rib, his nose, and his right orbital bone. That was April 16th, Arlington, Texas, AT&T Dallas Cowboys Stadium. We saw in less than 72 hours, ERROL Spence was back in the gym, back training. He's back putting the miles in. ERROL Spence, he stated that he agreed with his trainer, longtime trainer, well-renowned trainer, trainer of the year in Derrick James, who's a future Hall of Famer. Derrick James, after the fight was stopped between YORDENIS and ERROL Spence, immediately Derrick James, he goes over to ERROL Spence and he tells him, we got to get back in the lab. And so we can't have no slippages, because the biggest fight of your career is next, and that's the fight between ERROL Spence Jr. and the fight everybody has been waiting for. His biggest rival, an undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO, the World Boxing Organization welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and Terence Crawford, okay? Terence Crawford is 38 wins, no losses, no draws. Terence Crawford is 29 big wins by way of knockout. He is 34 years of age with a 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach, okay? With that said, Terence Crawford and ERROL Spence make up for the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. It's the toughest task for either guy, okay? It's the toughest task for ERROL Spence in his career, fighting a guy like Terence Crawford. Out of Terence Crawford's last 11 fights, Terence Crawford has had 10 stoppages or knockout victories, okay? In his last 10 out of his last 11 fights. The only fight that went the distance was his 2015 showdown with, which was a unification bout with Victor Postol, okay? Outside of that, you know, Terence Crawford has stopped all his opponents from then. He made his debut in the welterweight division in 2018 against WBO Australian welterweight world champion star boxer Jeff Horn, who's a star in Australia, and he stopped Jeff Horn, okay? And from there, he stopped all his opponents. His next opponent was Jose Benavidez Jr. His next opponent after that was Amir King Kong. His next opponent after that was Edis Kavalauskas. The next opponent after that was Kell Brook. And the next opponent after that was 2-time welterweight world champion superstar boxer Showtime Shawn Porter, in which he stopped Shawn Porter, okay? So with that said, this is the reason why you see ERROL Spence back in the lab. ERROL Spence has told you that he's recommitted. Since ERROL Spence unified the belts against 2-time welterweight world champion Showtime Shawn Porter, a common opponent, back in September of 2019, ERROL Spence 12 days later suffered a horrific car accident, which saw ERROL Spence out the ring for 14 months, okay? Then he came back December 5th. He faced off against 2-division world champion Puerto Rican superstar boxer Danny Swift Garcia, and he dominated Danny Garcia, okay? Coming off 14-month layoff. Danny Garcia is one of the better welterweights in the world. Then ERROL Spence went through, as we all went through, the global pandemic, okay? Then he was out the ring. He was supposed to come back August 21st, 2021 against 8-division world champion, iconic Filipino superstar boxer Manny Pacquiao, but he suffered a broken nor detached retina, okay? Which saw him have to be removed from that fight, which made YORDENIS replace him. So ERROL Spence, from that point, has explained that, you know, opportunity. You know, he felt like he got a second and third chance. He felt like, you know, opportunities has slipped through his fingers due to unforeseen actions and situations that took place, and injuries and things of that nature. And Errol Spence is back committed. Yesterday we saw Errol Spence, you know, back running, pounding the pavement. Okay. Today, Errol Spence early in the morning lets you know that he's back hitting the heavy bag. Okay. He's back in the gym early in the morning. He put the shaking hand emojis. He put up the clip of Derrick James telling him we got to get back in the lab so we can have no hiccups, okay, no slippages. We can't have no more setbacks, okay. And so what do you get? You get Errol Spence focused on this fight between himself and Terence Bud Crawford, okay. And so here you see back in the lab early, right? That's Errol Spence back in the gym, right? Early in the morning. So he's pounding the pavement. So this is about 6 o'clock in the morning. Errol Spence is letting it be known, I'm back in the gym. Now there's reports that Errol Spence and Terence Crawford could possibly face off against one another September, October. We saw Terence Crawford. We saw clips of Terence Crawford in snack program. We know Terence Crawford has, been training with Snack. A lot of people feel like this is something new, that Terence Crawford is training with Snack, but it's actually not something new. Terence Crawford was with Snack when he fought Sean Porter back in November 2021, excuse me. He was with Snack, I believe, when he fought against Kell Brook as well, okay? So, you know, Snack program is Victor Conte, Balco founder of Snack, you know, sports nutrition, advanced, for athletes, so, you know, obviously there's some controversy when you look at the Snack program and Victor Conte questioning Errol Spence not being able to reveal his VADA testing. And so Errol Spence agrees that, you know, Victor Conte is one of the biggest drug teams, the face of it, performance enhancers for athletes on the highest level. So that's what Terence Crawford is training. Terence Crawford is somebody that's always been in the gym, okay? Terence Crawford has always historically been in shape. You never see Terence Crawford out of shape, so it's not surprising. But the one thing I will say regarding Terence Crawford is the fact that Terence Crawford is going to be 35 years old by the time this fight happens. He's fought twice in 3 years going into this fight. Okay, he's fought once in 2020 against Kell Brook. He fought in November 2020 against November 14th against Kell Brook. November 20th, 2021 against Sean Porter. And now it looks like this fight with Errol Spencer himself could be in October. Okay, so that's nearly another year since he was out the ring. Once a year. Okay, he fights Errol Spence in November, October or November. Okay, that's once in 2022. He's not going to fight again in 2022 at this advanced age. I believe Terence Crawford is winding down his career. Should he beat Errol Spence and be victorious, I believe that Terence Crawford is going to look to fight the winner, Jamel Charlo Brian Castano, who's fighting for undisputed rematch, highly anticipated, May 14th in 3 weeks. You know, and he wants to fight the winner of that fight. And I believe Terence Crawford is going to call it a career. Should he be victorious in those fights? Now, but more importantly, Errol Spence understands the task at hand. Errol Spence understands that, you know, Terence Crawford is his biggest risk, the biggest risk fight. Now, every time they step in the square circle, every time they, sign on the dotted line to fight a fighter, it's a risk, right? You never know what's going to happen. Nobody can predict what's going to happen or not. But Errol Spence recommitted and reacclimated. I think you're going to get the best version of Errol Spence against Terence Crawford, okay? I think that, you know, the version of Errol Spence when he fought Sean Porter, fought Mikey Garcia, and was, essentially taking the sport for granted, right, as he stated. And, I think that, Terence Crawford is going to get the best version of Errol Spence. That version, even though it didn't reflect it always in the ring, that wasn't the best version of Errol Spence. Like he stated, he had to have weight loss camps in between fights, you know, and opposed to having strategic training camps and having fun. Now he was his own nutritionist. Now he has a nutritionist, and now he has back with another strength and condition. Now I would love to see him back with Blueberry Fitness, but he has a strength and conditioning coach. And for after I believe it was the Chris Algieri, he fought Kell Brook, Lamont Peterson. Those fights was his last fight using strength and condition. He has a strength and conditioning coach, so I do think that now Terence Crawford is going to get the best version of Errol Spence. And the fact that he's committed, the fans should be excited about this. So he punched the clock, let it be known, no days off. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to Blue Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.